Hi guys. So on Friday, I ended up biting the bullet and I brought the camper here. So I ended up, after I posted the video and stuff, and I got to thinking about, plus my uncle commented about get ready for mud, and it got me thinking about how muddy and wet our other property is to get to where the camper was stored at. And I was thinking about how muddy and wet it is to get back by the back barn at this property. And I was like, you know what? I should just go do this thing. I better just get scooting, get my ass moving, just go and do the thing. Which it was honestly the most nerve-wracking ride here ever. So I do not have any idea as to how much this camper weighs, but I can tell you right now that it took every bit of power that the Envoy had to get it here. So I could not even get up to the, I gotta get out of the snow. My feet are gonna get freezing before I even get busy. We got a little bit of grass showing. But so yeah, I could not do the speed limit. It took everything in the Envoy to even get it up some of the hills here, to get it here. So the speed limit most of the way is like 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour on the back roads. And I think the fastest I got up to going downhill, and I was really nervous going that fast, was like 45. And I was pretty much riding the brakes because the whole way here, like we are definitely in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. That's why, you can see hills and stuff, but the whole path from the other house to here is pretty much just like uphill, winding, turning this way, that way, and just bob and weave and hope for the best. And you can never consistently stay a similar speed, so it kills your gas mileage, especially when you're hauling something like this. But yeah, I think the towing capacity on the Envoy is around like 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, and this thing, oh my god, it was hard to get it going from a stop. Get going. And when we were, my friend's son, he ended up following me in his truck. Originally we weren't sure if we were going to use his truck to get it here or if we were going to use the Envoy, but because I know the roads and he does not really know the roads to get here and all of the super dangerous, super sketchy curves and turns and all that stuff, I elected to use the Envoy. Plus I was like, if something happens, I'd rather it be with the Envoy instead of him, because no lights on the camper, and also no valid plates. So I was like, I'd rather it be me. But so yeah, the one hill that was really close to here, I was so nervous about getting up it and stuff. Like I was pretty much just like gunning it as soon as I turned on the road, because it is a hill that, it's the reason that Tracy pretty much has to get a four-wheel drive vehicle for once we move out here for next winter, because there's no way that she'll be able to get up it with her little car. If there's any amount of snow on the ground. So by the time I hit that bottom of the hill doing like 40 miles an hour, that camper was like boom, 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 and stuff. And by the time I got up to the top, I think Big Sheila was doing like 15, and I never let off of the gas and stuff. When I got to the top of the hill, I let out the biggest woohoo that I could muster and stuff. Like it felt so like liberating and freeing and just invigorating to be like, all right, the most difficult part of moving is over. I know a lot of people are probably thinking it's going to be moving the animals, but I outweigh all of the animals, so I can just manhandle them, pick them up, whatever, throw them in a cage or whatever and stuff. I know it sounds really callous to say it like that, but the logistics of it are that this was the thing that we were the most nervous about moving, because we had no idea if it, honestly, we had assumed it would survive, but we weren't positive. This thing's from like 1973, I think is what the title had said on it. But yeah, Envoy survived. It's in the driveway there. Camper survived. So now it's just the long task of moving stuff out of there, which I started telling you guys that, but then I got distracted. But so whenever we were on the road that the old house is on, I ended up having to pull over and take some of the stuff out of the camper because the Envoy could not get up to 20 miles an hour at first with pulling this. So I ended up pulling some random stuff out of there because this thing's just been used for storage for the last several years. I ended up pulling some totes out of there, some tooling out of there, some random like boxes of books and just random junk out of there and stuff. Put it in my friend's son's truck because I was like, there's no way in hell that we're getting there with all of this stuff in there. So yeah, it's here. Now I got to work on cleaning it out. I'm probably going to rip out the last little bit of countertop that's in there. So then that way I can just put in a whole bunch of like roosting bars for the chickens and whatnot. And then tomorrow, because there's still snow everywhere, This is why I busted ass so much when we first got this place back in December, to put in all of the fence posts, to do all of the fencing, to do all of that, because I know how Ohio weather is. That in February we usually get a good significant snowstorm, and then the snow usually lingers for a while. And I knew that the ground was going to do a deep freeze, because even though it's melted right in here and it is kind of muddy, about 2 inches beneath the mud, it is solid ice still. So this week is supposed to get warmer. I think tomorrow is supposed to be almost 60. So tomorrow's task is going to be to work on putting in some T-posts to basically fence around the camper. So then that way, hopefully, maybe kind of sort of the chickens will somewhat stay in there. I doubt it. I imagine that they're honestly just going to hop the fence right here and go right into the goats area. So I don't know. We'll try it. We'll hope for the best and stuff. I mean, if not, well, there's always more chickens to be hatched out. Like, to be quite honest, like if they're gonna get got, they're gonna get got. Like, that's just the reality of it and stuff. That's part of the risk with having bantams, because they can fly. They're very hard to contain. At least ours are. They can fly up. They'll easily be able to get up onto the roof of the barn there. They do it at the old house all of the time. They roost up in trees sometimes, and just they do what they want. So it is what it is. At least I'll know that I've tried the best that I can. So today's task is cleaning that out, getting it ready for the chickens. And then if there's any time after that, I have to get hay today. It's a lot. Right now I'm juggling like 500,000 different things and trying not to drop anything that's important. And it's just like, I feel like I'm in a front, I'll just use this as a better example. I feel like I'm in that tumbler of a compost bin, and somebody just keeps cranking it faster and faster and faster, and I don't know which way is up. I don't know when to come up for air. I don't know. I'm just like flailing around and stuff. But I got more 2x4s today for in the barn. So yesterday I had Tracy help me put that piece of plywood up there. So then that way the duck and goose area that's going to be over in here, the goats cannot get in there. I got to put some fencing up in here, which is probably going to be Wednesday's project. Wednesday it's supposed to rain and still be really warm, so I'm probably gonna work in the barn on Wednesday. I don't know. I honestly, I have no idea. I don't know how long certain things are going to take. So basically, whenever I get done with one project, I just got to dive into the next and just keep. As soon as one thing gets completed, I feel like I'm eating a really large meal, and just like it's like one of them competition things where you got to eat so much, but so then that way you don't have to pay for the food. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. It's just like scarfing everything down, taking care of as many things as possible, and just completing task after task after task. But anyways, so I had Tracy yesterday because she was here, help me get this door put up. This is the other front door that I told you guys about. So I have to put a stud over in here, so then that way we can get it so the door can latch shut and be shut. And then I'll also have to work on pulling that shelf thingy out of there and making holes in. God, there's a lot to do. There are so many things that need to be done before the weekend. Glad it's only Monday. But yeah, it is what it is. So we got to get a tarp too to put on the camper because the roof does leak. Eventually, we'll probably build a roof over top of it if it works well for housing the chickens. If it doesn't work well, we'll just have to go back to the drawing board. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, it is what it is. So anyways, that's it for today. I'm kind of all scatterbrained and rambly because I'm like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this and I gotta. And it's just, I think I'll walk down to the stream for a moment, just so then that way I can sort of calm myself, calm my nervous system down, settle in, so then I'm not so not frantic feeling, because that's how I feel right now at this point. It's just, didn't help either that I couldn't sleep last night. I've been up since midnight, so got solid 4 hours. So that's been pretty much how I've been sleeping for the last several months on end. Just night after night after night after night. I just fall asleep, sleep really good for the first few hours, then I wake up and I'm wide awake just laying there. So this morning I ended up cleaning the bathroom, going downstairs and cleaning the kitchen, mopping the floor. Just, I'm like, what else am I supposed to do? I can't just lay here. And for those of you wondering, I did lay there at first. I laid there for 3 hours trying to fall back asleep. Took a melatonin, still couldn't sleep. I've literally been this way my entire life of just, it's like, I know time is limited whenever you're a human, so I'm just making sure I get the most hours out of this body. I'm like, who needs sleep? I need sleep. I really do. I thought about when I was driving here. I'm like, well, our bed is all like poofed up now at the new house. We've got some blankets there, got a couch. I'm like, maybe I should just take a nap when I get here. And then I got here and I was like, no. Too much to do. Cannot nap. Like, cannot stop now. So, anyways, that's it for today. I've got to get this thing cleaned out. I would show you guys, but it looks honestly like it did several months ago whenever I'd filmed a video in there. So, I mean, nothing exciting. It's just our junk. That's all that it is. So I got to use the wagon there. Got to pull totes of stuff out of that camper, put it in the wagon, and then drag the wagon through the snow, up through the gate, and then all the way around to the front barn. So, I mean, it's a pain in the ass. I would go this way, but there's more snow and it's just can't get through. So the wagons are nice, but they're pretty heavy. They have a lot of resistance when you pull on them. So, but anyways, that's it for today, for real this time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.